In a stunning turn of events, Monte Foods, a 139-year-old American food industry giant known for its canned fruits, vegetables, broths, and sauces, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in July 2025. The company, famous for brands like College Inn, Kitchen Basics, Contadina, and Joyba, is the latest legacy business to fall victim to a rapidly evolving marketplace, shifting consumer preferences, inflationary pressures, and strategic missteps. This video explores the rise, reign, and fall of Monte Foods, from its humble beginnings in the 19th century to its current bankruptcy and uncertain future. Del Monte's story began in 1886 in California, a region that would become the epicenter of USA agriculture. Originally a food distributor, the company grew by aligning with the fertile Central Valley's farming boom and the expanding national rail system. In 1916, the company was incorporated as California Packing Corporation, uniting several major food producers under one umbrella. It was in the early 20th century that Del Monte pioneered the concept of branded canned food, a rarity at the time. By emphasizing quality and consistency, the company carved out a loyal customer base in American households. Its iconic red shield logo became synonymous with freshness and convenience. Del Monte continued to expand for decades, becoming one of the Big Three in canned goods alongside Green Giant and Libby's. The post-World War II economic boom, coupled with the rise of supermarkets, created a golden era for shelf-stable food. Del Monte was at its peak. The early 2000s marked the beginning of turbulence. Del Monte Foods was acquired, split, and restructured multiple times. In 2014, the USA consumer food business was sold to Del Monte Pacific Limited, a Philippines-based conglomerate, while the pet food division remained separate. Under new ownership, Del Monte sought to rebrand itself as a modern food company. It introduced new product lines, like Joyba bubble teas, expanded into organic and low-sodium options, and invested in more sustainable packaging. Despite these efforts, the company struggled to compete with private label store brands and smaller niche health-focused brands. At the same time, consumer behavior was changing. The phrase, "fresh is best," became a defining mantra for millennials and Gen Z shoppers. Refrigerated produce, meal kits, and farm-to-table became more desirable than canned peaches and corn. This shift hit Del Monte at its core. By the time the COVID-19 pandemic arrived in 2020, Del Monte Foods saw a brief surge in demand, as panicked consumers hoarded shelf-stable goods. However, the company miscalculated how long the trend would last. It overstocked inventory, invested in excess production, and misread the lasting impact of pandemic-driven purchasing patterns. Meanwhile, Del Monte faced rising operational costs, including aluminum tariffs on cans, supply chain disruptions, and inflationary pressures on everything from produce to packaging. It also accumulated heavy debt, partly due to a $240 million refinancing deal in 2024 meant to buy time for a turnaround. Plant closures followed. Layoffs spread across the USA. The company's facility in Yakima, Washington, once a vital link in its operations, was shuttered. Ultimately, the burden became too much. On July 1, 2025, Del Monte Foods filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the District of New Jersey, listing liabilities of up to $10 billion and more than 10,000 creditors. The company secured $912.5 million in debtor-in-possession financing to keep operations running during a potential sale. Del Monte Foods insists the bankruptcy is part of a strategic restructuring and not the end. The company is seeking a buyer who can inject capital, reorganize the business, and preserve its most valuable assets. Its international operations, including those in Asia and Latin America under Del Monte Pacific, remain unaffected and continue to operate profitably. Still, the bankruptcy sends a warning signal through the food and beverage industry. Even a company with nearly 140 years of history is not immune to disruption, innovation gaps, and misaligned strategy. The story of Del Monte Foods is more than a bankruptcy case. It's a study in how even the most iconic brands must continually adapt to new consumer trends, market conditions, and global economic challenges. As the world turns to fresh, local, organic, and digital-first food experiences, legacy brands like Del Monte face a harsh truth: tradition is not a strategy. The coming months will determine if Del Monte can reinvent itself once more or if it will become a relic of America's canned past.